Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for tonight's call. I think I am recording. Let me double check. Yes, I am. Okay, cool. All right. So we got a little bit to cover. That's why I wanted to kind of just like do this little PowerPoint. That way I didn't forget anything because my mind's been a little bit spacey lately. So this week is Super Saturday. Hopefully you guys are coming. I'll be at Philly, and I know a lot of us Jersey girls will be there too. But if you are still unsure, I posted the link in the team page, but you can always go into your Coach Online office, news and training, and then click on events. And then just put in your zip code zip code, area code, zip code, whatever. And then you can find the location nearest you. So Super Saturday happens every quarter. So I'm going to let you know when the next one is, which is January 6th. So mark that in your calendar. If you're like, oh, this one came up too quickly, well, now I'm giving you, 4 months for the next one. So make sure you are there. It's really important to be at these events. No, they're not mandatory. But I mean, if you want to grow a business, you obviously want to be around like-minded people. You want to get to hear what other coaches are doing besides just our team. Because believe it or not, like I don't know everything. Other teams have really great ideas, and you definitely want to be around all of that. So make sure that you go to Super Saturdays. All right, so big news is the team retreat is set in stone. It's definitely going to be Saturday, January 13th. It's going to be at the Wooden Duck Bed and Breakfast in Newton, New Jersey. And I had no idea where that was either, but it's in North Jersey. I would say off of like 287. So from my house, I think it's like 3 hours. But obviously, I'm personally going to be staying there Friday and Saturday night. You can sleep over Friday night or Saturday or both nights. It's going to be first come, first serve for people who want to be sleeping over. I will probably make up the document tomorrow. And if we haven't noticed from the whole team shirt thing, when you are, when I put out the Google form for the team retreat, you have to be on a computer. You cannot edit it from a phone, and be careful when you're editing it, because if you delete someone else's stuff, I can't get it back. So, like I said, first come, first serve. If you are sleeping over, it's going to be around 1:15 if we like book to the max. Like the max amount of people that can stay each day is like 26. So if we get 26 people on Friday, 26 people on Saturday, like it'll probably be even cheaper. It'll probably be somewhere around like $90, $95. So if we only get 20 people, then it's only 115. So when I put up the Google documents, like we have to kind of book that stuff right away. That way the rooms don't get sold out by other people. Like I definitely have Saturday all squared away, but if we want to be staying on Friday, same thing. Like we have to book this kind of stuff ahead of time. So just be aware of that. If you are flying in, Newark Airport is the closest. There's a lot of people here in Jersey that can pick you up if you want to check into flying into Atlantic City or Philly. I can pick people up from Atlantic City. There's a lot of people that are closer to Philly, so you can kind of, ask around the team page if one of those two airports are cheaper for you to fly in. But I'm sure if you look now, you can get some really good flights. And then all events will be happening on Saturday. So nothing's happening on Friday night. But if you're flying in and you're, flying in on Friday, or you just want to hang and chill and whatever on Friday night, the more the merrier. More details, obviously, will be coming about this, but just want to let you guys know so you can put that in your calendar as well. Clean Week sneak peek was today, and I was going to do 2 workouts, and it did not happen. Anyone check it out today? No, I didn't. Darn it. Well, the sneak peek was today, but it will be released fully in October. So, write down all those no's that you got last month and this month. Make sure you're writing them down, because those would be great people to be inviting to this, because they can sign up, get the free workouts, and not even have to put in their credit card, which is a really sweet deal. And then lastly, my little spiel is this is the last quarter of the year. So most, in fitness businesses, this is quote unquote the slow time. But now is seriously the time to hustle, because if you're going to be waiting around until January saying, all right, like I'll just chill until January comes, you're going to be so far behind. Meaning, don't wait until January, February when everyone's on the bandwagon to get healthy and fit and New Year's resolution time. Like now is the time to be inviting people to join your team, because you can say I was watching Keith Callahan's video that Leia posted in the team page, which is excellent. It's still in the team page if you want to go back and watch it. But, it's a great opportunity to invite people to join your team, because, hey, they're going to get 3 months to kind of like be in your challenge group, get great results. And then come January, they're going to be set. They're going to have a journey. They're going to have a story. And then they're going to be, if they hustle and they put work into it, they're obviously going to be really successful in January. And the same thing goes for us, whether we've been in this for 4 years, 2 years, 2 months, whatever. Now is the time to really reach out to people, post consistently, and then come January, you're really going to see this blow up. So I am going to pass it over to Erica. If you want to, I can't even see Erica right now. There's too many people. No, Erica, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I unmuted you. Do you want to introduce Kerri?
Sure.
All right, you're good to go.
Okay, so I am so excited to hear Kerri's call tonight. She is a diamond coach. She has been at this for about 6 months now, but she is just rocking everything, as you guys can see from all the leaderboards. So I'm really excited to see what she has to say. I know she's going to give us a lot of great tips. So take it away, Kerri.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you guys for joining me. So I'm a teacher and I talk in front of teenagers all day long and do lessons, but for some reason talking to all of you guys makes me so nervous. So hopefully you will get some good information out of tonight's call. Basically, I wanted to talk to you guys about some ideas that I got from a Melanie Mitro podcast, and it really, really helped me focus in on my business. And the first thing is defining your why. And I know that we've all heard that, but I think even if you've been a coach that's been doing it a while, it changes over time. If you're a new coach, maybe you haven't even thought about it yet, but we kind of have to start there. So I want to help you define your why and kind of craft that into a vision, meaning like, what is your life going to look like in a few years? And then from that, breaking it down to goals and actions you can take to get those goals. So for me, I found it overwhelming to hear other people's stories of like, I left my full-time job and I'm a millionaire, and it's just like, how? I don't understand how to get from here to there. But if you kind of break it down into small steps, you can kind of start to see the bigger picture that you might want for yourself. So starting with defining your why. For me, I know that when I started coaching, I still was like not at all at my goal weight. And my why for coaching was to like keep myself motivated and accountable. It was completely for my own benefit of being healthy and staying on track. That was in March. And then, like I said, I'm a teacher. So the summer rolled around, and every summer I've always been a server, a waitress at a restaurant. Until I met my husband, but it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I became a teacher so that I could eventually stay home with my kids and have that freedom. So I went back to serving, and I'm there, and it's all like, a lot of former students because of the town I was working in, and they're like calling me Mrs. Skipper at work. They're all like going out drinking every night after the shift, and I'm like, I gotta get my workout in. I'm drinking my shake, and I'm just like, why am I here? Like, this is not where I want to be. I feel like I'm going backwards 10 steps. So I quit. And I was kind of forced to, okay, I'm going to put everything I have into this business. And this is where I kind of started to really define my why. So it morphed into, well, I need some money over the summer. So it started with my own health and wellness. It morphed into having finances over the summer. And then by the end of the summer, something big happened for me, and I kind of shared with some other people on my team. I was so scared to admit my why. So my advice to you is to not limit yourself. I was so scared to admit that I do want to be a stay-at-home mom, because I think in the back of my mind, I was so fearful that that could never happen for me. That's not a possibility. I have to have this career. This is what I went to school for. I'm going to do it for the next how many ever years so that I can retire and whatever it is. And I'm kind of trapped in that. I can't break that mold. And that was the fear I had holding me back. So I'm going to share something kind of personal with you guys. So in August, after doing Shift Shop, my husband and I unexpectedly found out we were pregnant with number 3. Yeah. Which was a surprise. And it, in a way, it made me sad because when we found out, both of us were like, shit, like, what are we going to do? Like, we need a new house. We need a new car. My immediate thoughts went to, oh my God, I'm going to be pumping in a closet again at work, and I'm going to have to take 3 kids to daycare. So I just, and it lasted for a day, and now we're so excited, but I found my why. So I love teaching. I love my career, but I want the option. I want the choice of being able to stay home with my kids or kind of doing it on my terms, and not having the sacrifice. I saw today one of the coaches post, I think it was Jen. She shared something, and I always love her post because she's so honest, but something about like both of her kids being in elementary school, and she feels like she doesn't know where the time went. And that kind of stuck with me. Like, am I living the life I want, or the life I feel like I have to? So I want you to think about defining your why. Your why can be completely different than mine. My why is to have the option and freedom to be able to be home with my kids and not be stressed about money. Okay. So once you have your why, and just be honest with yourself. Like, the things that you're really scared to admit of what you really want your life to look like, even if you think it's not possible, write it down. Okay, so then I want you to think about turning your why into a vision, crafting it into a vision. Also, I had a couple things, some questions maybe to help you define your why if you're struggling with finding a why. Why are you doing this in your free time? Why have you added this to your plate? We are all busy, right? Whether you're working full-time or you have a job or your dog, whatever you're doing, we're all busy. Why add this to your plate, right? Most people say, you know, when you've been asked to join a challenge group, they don't have the time. But so why are we adding this coaching thing to our plate? I think that's a good place to start to define your why. Also, what could this do for your family? What could this income give you? How could it change your life? Also, a good way to think about it is, in 5 years from now, if you don't do this, if you don't do the things to move forward towards your goal, what feelings will that bring? What disappointment will you have? What will you have missed out on? I feel like that's a good way, if you do the opposite, to define your why. How will you feel if you don't do it? If you leave this on the table, this opportunity. So those 3 questions help me kind of like really hash it out. And then turning it into a vision. For me, a vision, I'm thinking like 3 to 5 years. So you can think about the time frame and what you want it to look like for yourself. Think about making statements, but instead of saying like, I want to live a debt-free life. Like, having that word in there, debt, is kind of a negative thing. I'm huge on like positive affirmations. Something I have my students do too. Instead of saying I want to live debt-free, say I want the peace and security and confidence that comes with financial freedom. And then that statement can be part of your vision, if that's what it is, to really have this life of financial freedom. Instead of saying I want to stop losing my patience with my kids and stop being a distracted mother, I'm a better parent when I find the time each day to fill my cup. So that's how I crafted the vision, was I started to make these positive affirmations, these positive statements. And those are good things to just like say to yourself every day too. Okay, so your vision. take some time to think about this. It might take a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months to really think about, if you're being honest with yourself, 3 to 5 years from now, where do you want to be? What I came up with was I will be living debt-free in a new home. I will be home with Kyla and Avery. I think it's good too to attach like emotional words. So instead of saying like my kids, like I put my kids' names in there so that you have this emotional attachment to your vision. Leading a team of women while enjoying a happy and healthy marriage with Zach. So I put my husband's name in there. So it's all of those things, right? It's having the financial freedom. It's being in a healthy marriage. It's being home with my kids. But I kind of did that work with the questions to figure out that that's what I wanted. Okay, so once you have your vision, you should break it down into goals. Now's actually a great time to do that. I did this in August, and as far as goals, it's helpful to kind of keep it in like a 12-week thing. But I think if you guys make goals from now until December, it's a short enough amount of time where you can really set specific things to actually try to achieve. So I would suggest that, like, start with 3 goals that will help you get to your vision. A couple things that she said too, as far as, and I'm so guilty of this. She said a quote, sorry. A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. Like, this is so me. It's like, okay, once I get the time to really sit down, I'm going to write down my goals. I'll figure it out. Like, you got to make it all perfect before you start. That's the worst thing you can do. And, you know, even with the health and fitness stuff, like, you just have to do it. You have to have action. Thank you. My husband got me some water because I'm choking. Thank you. All right. So that's the biggest thing. Just do this. Write it down and then just start doing it. Stop waiting for the perfect time. And don't just write this stuff down. Actually do it. Okay, so goals. One of mine to match my vision is I will be a leader and a mentor. So while being a coach, I've been really successful at signing up customers and having these great challenge groups. But I've really struggled with having working coaches and leading people. And so I would say to myself, oh, I got to sign up coaches. But if I was being honest with myself, I have no idea what to do once I get a coach. I have no idea how to actually recruit new coaches. So I had to sit down and think about, it's great to have that goal. I'll be a leader and a mentor. But unless I have actions to get there, it's kind of meaningless. So once you have your goal, break it down into action steps. So for my leader and mentor, I broke it down really specifically. And they have to be measurable goals so that once a week or at the end of the month, I can check off whether I met that goal or not. To do that, I need to expand my network, right? I can't just rely on the same people I'm talking to every day and hope that they want to be coaches. So I have a number of new friends that I want to hit. We did this on one of the team pages before, and I did great with it, and then I just fell off with it as far as adding friends. So I went back to doing that, adding a certain amount every Sunday. I could check off, do I have this many new friends or do I not? I did a lot of research on Instagram. I watched a lot of like YouTube videos. I had no idea what hashtags were, but I started understanding them a little bit better and using them. So then I started getting new followers just from like hashtagging fit mom, and I would get people following me. So expanding network, creating a coach avatar, which thanks to Erica, I kind of have like a breakdown of how to do that. It's still on my to-do list, but understanding who you want to attract, checking in with all my challengers. I don't know how many challengers I've let go through that do awesome, and I've never asked the question, do you want to be a coach? They had that on one of the national wake-up calls about, I love the way she worded it, and I wrote it down of just like, hey, you're doing awesome. Would you be interested in like coaching, maybe getting a discount on Shakeology, or just opening the door, because I think you'll be so surprised. I remember with Erica, I mean, I think she'd only been coaching like a month or two before me, not very long, a couple months. But so I messaged her and was like, I think I want to coach. But like, thank God I did say that, because if I didn't, then I would have missed out on the opportunity. I think it's so important. And she said, well, I was actually just getting ready to ask you that. So it was good, but I think so many people aren't going to put themselves out there and say something unless you're kind of guiding them to that. create a sneak peek. When I wrote that down, I didn't really know what a sneak peek was, but I thought it was probably important. And now I'm working with other team members to create like a monthly sneak peek. Give coaches the tools to be successful. I didn't know what those tools were. I knew what I was doing. But over the summer, I created like a whole document for new coaches and kind of a list of thick checklist of like what I should be giving them to help them along the way. All right, so your goal might look a lot different, but my advice is to have the goal match your vision and then break it down into like 5 very specific actions that you can track over time. So you can check it off the list, like create a sneak peek. That's something I'm working on, and hopefully we'll be able to check off and will get me closer to my goal of really being a leader and a mentor. I gave myself specific numbers too. I said that I want to have 5 new working coaches by December. I think I had 5 months at the time. So I thought like I can get at least 1 new working coach a month. And you have to be realistic with your goals too. I knew that I'd be going back to work. I knew that saying like, oh, I'm going to get 10 new coaches a month just wasn't reasonable for me. But I said that I could get at least 1. And I have been on track with doing that. So be specific with your goals and definitely make them attainable, but definitely a reach too. Now, I'll just share one of my other goals with you was to increase my income. So we all want that, right? We all want to make more money, or we all want to be successful in that way in this business, I'm assuming, unless you're just like a super good person, you only just want to help people. But this is a business, right? That's great. You want to make more income, but what can you do to actually do that? I set for myself a goal of helping a minimum of 10 people a month. I think that turned out to be like 50 people by December that I'm going to add as either customers or coaches. This is a big one because I say I want more money, but I hate dealing with money. Like, I'm an English teacher. I hate math. I hate all of that stuff. But how can I expect to really increase my income if I'm not understanding where it's coming from, the commission side of things, the bonuses? Like, I still don't know a lot of that, and it's really easy to find out if you like Google things or watch different videos. The information's out there. So that was one of my goals, to be more knowledgeable about all of those things. Figure out what I need to make. So, okay, I want to leave my job, or I want the option to be able to stay home with my kids. How much do I actually need to be making each week for that to be a possibility? Like, it's just a matter of figuring out the numbers. And then I could break that number down into, well, how many people does that mean I need to help? Or how much volume do I need to produce? So I haven't done all of that. Like, I'm admittedly not good with that stuff, but I need to get good at it if this is what I want to do. Okay. And then once you kind of have defined your why, the thing that's going to keep you going, your goals, your actions, one thing I did that was really helpful is put it somewhere where you see it every day. So I have these Post-it notes on my mirror, and I see it every day. And at the beginning of this month, or I guess at the end of August, I got to put like a big check mark on one of them, which was to become a diamond coach. Or like the inspiration board, right? Put it somewhere you're going to see it. Don't just write it down, have it in your notebook, and just put your notebook away, which I think I've been very guilty of, especially early on with coaching. Put it into action. All right, I think that was a lot of it. Any questions, guys? I don't know if that was really short.
You guys can just unmute yourselves.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, like, all my close family and friends know I haven't put anything on social media, so just keep it a secret, but I wanted to tell you guys. Does anyone, like, what is your why? I'm just curious, because I floated around for a while and I didn't know. I just knew that I liked doing this. Like, I don't know. Does anybody want to share what their why is?
So I'll be honest, in the beginning, I don't think I had a clue what I wanted from this because I didn't know the possibility. And then once I kind of got my feet wet, kind of like you, Kerri, I was like, all right, like I think I could do this. I think I could do this full time. And then after I hit that goal, that was where things became fuzzy again because you reach something like that and you're like, okay, like I'm comfy. And I'm like, crap, I don't want to be comfy because that's where I was 2.5 years ago when I first started out. So right now, my big why is to bring Dave home. And I know that's going to take a crap load of work, but that's something that he knows. So if he sees me like getting down or whatever, he's like, well, that's not going to bring me home. I'm like, darn it. So right. You're so right. So yeah, sometimes you definitely have to like think of the Josh Coates says like your puke goal. Like what is so scary that it's going to make you puke? I think that's the thing that's going to push you when you don't want to, when people say no, when you're exhausted, you're tired, whatever life gets in the way, that's going to be that thing that keeps pushing you forward. Anyone else want to share? Or still unclear?
I'll share too. I'll share like Rose. I'm just coming up on my 2-year anniversary, and my goal, like from really early on, was that I wanted to like quit my job and be a full-time coach. And when I quit my job in May, I was absolutely certain like that I had all of these plans and everything was going to work exactly how I wanted it. And then all of a sudden, like a month in, I was like, holy crap, now what, like I wasn't, my why had already happened. Because my why was only tied to coming home. And so like the past couple months, I've been really kind of like digging into like what my next why is. And for me, like my why is financial level, but I'm not motivated by money. So I've been really actually reworking my why like over the last 2 weeks, and I have to tie it to emotion, something that's going like the community and the women and my team and like the impact that it's going to have on their lives when their whys happen. Because when that happens and they're building their businesses, that's obviously going to have a financial impact on my why, right? Like it helps me. But just like I figured out that like saying like I want to make, $100,000 in the next 2 years, like it doesn't motivate me, even though that's what I want. And so I'll say like I've been in here in 2 years, and my why, what it was, is not the same now, and it is really like fuzzy, and I'm reworking that now too, so I can get really clear on how to like push forward.
I'll share, since my husband posted partly about it today, that we want to be completely debt-free. And we've had a lot that we've been working on. We've come a really long way, but this has been quite the journey to go through, especially like having 2 kids right away. And I mean, we sold our house and moved into a duplex that we owned and made some really serious, drastic changes to our lifestyle in order to like knock this out. And part of what's helping supplement that is what I'm earning from this. And, ultimately, like being completely debt-free and having that financial freedom is just a huge goal for us. And then that actually would enable me, between not having any debt and then being able to maintain, a steady income from this, that would enable me to be home with my kids. And the thing that I remember so much was taking my son back to daycare after a doctor's appointment, and he just did not want to be there. And he sat at those little teeny tiny tables and just put his head down, and he just cried and cried and cried. And it was ridiculous to try and leave. Speak of the devil here. Literally, he's a monster. But like, that was like the thing that, that moment is something that just really sticks with me, and that really fuels my why, and why we're getting up at, early hours of the morning consistently, and just working toward that ultimately. So I love hearing, your stories as well.
I'll share my why. I guess I'm on the fairly newer side. I started back in June, but I want to say I know my why, but then I go back and I'm not really sure again. And I don't want to sound like a brat, but maybe it's just me trying to figure it out. Like, I think like someone else said, like the money. I don't know if the money pushes me. I'm not really in debt, so I'm not looking to get out of debt. My son drives me crazy, so I don't know if I want to be a stay-at-home mom yet. Honestly, right now it's all about me, and I just really enjoy it. So it's like making that passion and into a paycheck maybe one day. And I think as I was going through my mind thinking about it, I want the freedom to be able to, and please don't think I'm such a bad mom, to be able to like put him in daycare from like 9 to 12, 3 days a week, do some work, but then go pick him up and go have fun with him. And, so he gets that social, but I get to do some work and have some me time. And then that freedom of being able to do what I want, when I want, how I want. I do work from home already. So that being at home, I am at home already. So I don't have my family at home with me, and I just can't. I do have to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So I think it's right now for me, and making that passion a paycheck, and then maybe one day, by the time if it's 3 to 5 years, he'll be in kindergarten. So I don't know, being able to like do what I want with him when I want, and pulling him out, and not having to worry about someone saying, "Are you working these hours?" and doing what you're supposed to be doing. So hope that makes sense.
I'll go. So right now Jeffrey is going to preschool about 25 minutes away from the house, because the schools aren't over here where I live aren't that great, and it's pretty expensive. It's like a Christian preschool, so it's like ridiculous for what they want. And we live in a town, like we moved here from Jersey. I had no idea where we were going. I didn't know the towns around us, so we want to go 25 minutes to where the school is. It's called La Plata, and it's just the taxes are expensive. We're in debt. My Y is getting us out of debt and making enough money to send him to the school, or even making enough money to move to La Plata. And that's what's really pushing me right now, is to change schools for him. So for one, I don't have to drive 25 minutes each day, and well, probably more because you're going back too. So right now I'm taking him to school, and I'll go to the Starbucks down the street. I will do my work there for 3 hours. I thought they were going to kick me out today. I was like sitting there, I'm like pretending to drink my coffee that I already drank, but I was like, I'm not going to go home. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to accomplish. So this call was great, and I like wrote 3 pages of notes. Thanks, Kerri.
Anyone else?
I'll go. So, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm glad it's official.
Yeah.
Second, this was fantastic, and I'm going to go back and listen again with a notepad and kind of get a little bit more specific with all of my goals. A big one for me is I do want to do this full time, and do just want to have my little furniture painting thing for fun on the side, instead of actually counting on it for income. But also my husband works crazy hours, and like it's just a really tough schedule for our family. So like, you know, the big scary goal is probably to take some financial burden off of him so he can cut back and not work overnights. And it'd be great to be able to go to my kids' schools more often when they have, you know, events that I can sign up for, because as it stands right now, I don't really get to do that very often. But that's basically it. So thank you.
Okay, I'll share. So when I first started coaching, some like of the OGs on here will remember that I desperately wanted to move and get my dream house and get my kids in a better school district. And I've done that, and that was one of my very first things I wanted to do. So that's amazing, except as you're in it longer, you know, your goals kind of change a little bit and things get a little hairy with that. So I'm back to an original goal that I kind of lost sight of when I was so focused on getting my kids to a better area and a better school. And that was to get, like you were saying, Erica, pressure off my husband. He works a lot, and because of that, I always said I was not going to work a lot, which I don't. I work 3 days a week. I work 8 to 5, and I take no work home with me. I leave it at the office, which is great. Except I'm in a position in my career where I'm pretty much capped. I will never probably earn any more where I am, and the cost of living just keeps going up. So I love what I do, though, so I don't necessarily want to leave my job, though. I like what I do. I could probably stand to work one less day. I think 2 days a week would be like clutch. But I would say that the goal is back to one of my original ones that I kind of lost sight of, was to help my husband and take some financial pressure off of him, and grow a team of amazing ladies, which I'm loving watching them tonight, and be part of a really great community. So I think my goal's kind of a little bit blurry too, but the focus is there, I guess. I should probably re-listen with a notepad too. But thank you, Kara. This was amazing.
Thank you, Renee. If you guys want, because a lot of this I took, like sat down with the notebook and I listened to Melanie Mitro's podcast. I think it's like her 4th one about creating like achievable goals. I love hers because I feel like when I listen to it, she gives me things I can actually go do. Like it's really specific, like certain topics, like how to expand your network. And she gives you like steps to do, and they're like 30 minutes. They're really short. So if you want to go back and listen to that, it's like a free podcast or whatever.
And I will say too, like sharing it with like either your team or your husband or something, like don't just keep all this stuff to yourself, because it's not real if you keep it to yourself in like a secret. So like share it with people, like obviously write this all down. And I hate journaling, but I think journaling is like so important. And I think that's one of the things, I don't know if you in Melanie's podcast, if she's talked about journaling. When me and Leah went to Pittsburgh to see her, she started doing that like every morning, just kind of like journaling, whatever, like taking, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes in the morning to just journal. So definitely write it out. And I like too what you said about just like taking action, because I'm like that too. Like you want everything to look so pretty and like pretty this and pretty that. And it's like, take that imperfect action. Like doesn't have to be done, doesn't have to be perfect, like doesn't have to be shiny. Just like freaking get it out there. And I'm even like tonight I'm going like through my old posts from like 2013, 2014. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how the heck did I get where I am? Like my photos are god awful. Like you can't even see me. I guess it didn't matter. You know, I just took imperfect action, did my best at the time and whatever. So that's kind of a really great point that you made. Yeah, messy action over no action.
I spent like a whole day this summer trying to create these like really pretty documents, these like action trackers, and I wanted to be like colorful and all of this. I'm like, it took me all day. I still didn't have anything. And that's like exactly what I mean. Instead, I just like pulled up a Google Doc and I wrote like vision, goal, like numbers, like so plain and simple. And I still haven't made those pretty documents, but I started doing it.
Anybody else with any questions, comments? I'll ask you one question before we hop off. What do you do on a daily, consistent basis? Because I think it's not easy to get started with this business. Like some people can get traction really good, especially if they have a big network, but you've been able to do this month after month after month, being very consistent. So you're obviously doing something consistently. So maybe just share like what you do every single day.
I think the biggest thing is like pouring myself into these challengers, these people that we sign up. And I think Erica and I have found a really good format for our challenge groups. Like I have people that signed up with me in March and they're still going strong. So like every day I'm posting in my challenge group. Every day I'm like liking and commenting their stuff. I try to message people as much as I can, celebrate their accomplishments, give them like bigger roles in our challenge group, basically like make them feel important. And I feel like making those connections with people has gone a long way. So many of my customers or new signups over the past couple of months were referrals. Just going back to school, I had a woman that's not even signed up with me, but she was like, reach out to my friend. Like she's really struggling. She had knee surgery. So I emailed her today. I've never met her before in my life. She works in the middle school and high school, but we're going to sit down tomorrow and talk about it. So I think there's a lot of power in, and anytime you're in some kind of like service where you're providing with someone, you want to give them the best experience so that they keep coming back and they tell other people about it. So aside from like adding to your network and new people, the people you do have, like your go-to people, give them your best. I feel like I need to get better with like, I wanted to have like a welcome packet and send them more mail. I know people do that stuff. I think that's been the biggest thing with me. I try to stay really consistent with the behaviors, like the vital behaviors. It's hard now being back to full-time work. I kind of need a little bit of refocus on that. But I would say that making connections with people, giving them a good experience, so they'll tell other people about it.
Sweet. Anyone else? Last shot. All right. Well, Kerri, thank you. Congrats. We will keep our lips sealed. And then when you post it, we'll all be like, oh, no way! That's amazing.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you on Saturday. Bye.